Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video, it is just myself. Father Phil is inside, and I'm going to tackle my 135. This is my very first tractor that I bought an awful long time ago. Run the yard scraper for years, brought in more bales. That was after the 35 that we have on the yard scraper. That's what I learned to drive on, and then I bought this, you could say, or I did, and this is what I drove for all my younger years. So we're going to take into it. Now we're not going to do this nut and bolt restoration on it. We're going to get it starting on the key. That is my goal, is to get it starting on the key and try and do it all by myself without any help from Father Phil. May have to ask him a few questions, but hopefully without him having to put spanner to it, I can do it myself, because I want to try and get better at these things. Now this video is sponsored by AgriLine Tractor Parts and Accessories. If you don't know who AgriLine are, specialise in vintage and classic machinery or tractors, parts and spares. We worked with them in the past. A lot of times they get the bits I need to get this going off them. So they're up on the loft and we'll get them going. But basically what I have to do to get this going and what I've got off AgriLine is, maybe I'll take off the bonnet first to show you. But I have the alternator, starter, new wiring loom, ignition and electronics. I have everything that I should need to get that going. Also the 135 has its water pump is gone, and the water pump has gone an awful long time, and this is new water pump Father Phil got for it donkeys years ago. Probably at some old vintage show. I'm going to have to get the airline, blow it down. It's covered in silica sand, and new gasket for it too, so I have to get at that too. So anyways, this is my 135. It's one of the early models. This is a square and round axle or something like that. Yeah, Father Phil will tell you more, but it's one of the earlier models of the 135. Doesn't have a foot throttle, but has a handbrake. Not too exciting, it's just a 135. And yes, I do have a flat wheel, and yes, I didn't think it was that flat bringing it home from the out farm until I went to pump it and found that the valve had gone inside the rim. It's just inside. But I'm not going to tackle that because I could spend all night at that and not get anything done. So first things first, take off the bonnet. There's not much holding it on, as it has been on a pull start for nearly as long as I can remember. It's been on the pull start, and one time it was pulled and the foot slipped off the clutch and rear-ended the teleporter, so that's why the front is bent in. But they're all minor things. For me, it's get this tractor starting on the key, as I want to put the finger bar more on it, or a topper if I buy a topper. Have it on it that it'll live or arc, you get up on it and go do a bit of topping, because that's one area where our grass management we really do fall short on. I do not like using the disc mowers, because a lot of our grazing platform is full of stones, and disc mowers and stones do not go well together. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking and we get some work done. And also 1200, what's been done? Very little since. Father Phil's waiting to get up the north and to get basically all over the country to pick up all the bits he needs to get going up. Anyways, I'll be down the camera. We'll get this bonnet off. Probably should have given it a better wash. You get the airline, or give it a blow down to get the water pump changed. We have to take off the radiator, get at the water pump. That's the water pump there. And then me alternator, it's there, it's straightforward enough. Change the alternator. That's the starter motor there, and then the ignition and that is obviously in the cab, so I have to rip out that. But changing that easy enough, changing that a little bit harder, the wiring and that, and also new battery. So that battery's been there an awful long time. Anyways, yeah, so where will I start? I suppose we'll take the radiator off first. I suppose that'd be a good point of call, but I might just get the airline and give her all a blow down first, tidy it up a little bit. take number 2. You're getting the radiator off. I think I have it this time. Way. And that's the radiator off. Now, while I have the radiator off, I'll like wash water through it. You can kind of see what kind of gunk is in there. Doesn't look very nice. Anyways, that's the water pump there. 4 studs holds that on. Take off 3 pipes. Also have lots of access now to the alternator. So yeah, I think I'll continue on at the water pump. Might just go get the airline again and see can I blow down the front of that. There's a lot of shit. Probably a wash would be the best option, but let's see what the airline do anything to it. Stepping in the right direction, slowly but surely. So, I have my 1/2 inch. Tell you, great job getting all these Imperial tools off Midwest Electrical, because I started off using the 13 and I didn't go on so well. Not on here, but when I started. But great job having all the Imperials. But anyways, this is the moment of truth. This is where you always do be wondering. I've seen it many times on many other tractors. You go to take out studs. So anyways, a 1/2 inch on, and let's see. Oh, okay, that one's good. This one, nearly too easy. That one, happy days. This one, oh, that I thought that was going to be a pig of a job. Not a bit of it. Yeah, that's amazed me now. I've often seen things like this would break your heart. Absolutely break your heart. Might just go get myself a 13. Actually, I have a 13 here. I'll whip these off a lot quicker. Here we go. And that's her off. Something tells me something is a wee bit off here now. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure maybe that could be a plate. Is it? Yes. Looks like a brass plate that shouldn't be on that. I don't know about that now. I just get Father Phil to look at that. I can't. Let's know it's a flaw in the block. But that doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a sort of a chip missing there or all of that. Not sure about that, but yeah, I think that's just a brass piece on the back of that. Because this one doesn't have that. So presuming that's the little brass piece comes off, puts on top of that along with the gasket. Or maybe it's just, no, it'd have to be a piece on that to seal that. Yep. That's that. So it wants a bit of it cleaning up. This is the old water pump now. Seized, solid. And that's all that happened to that. That seized, it snapped the shaft and lost everything. I remember when it done it, I was cleaning out the stables for my sister's horses. Oh, that one's a lot longer than the others. One's a lot longer than the others. Anyways, that's that. So I'm just going to, before I go putting stuff back, I want to ask Father Phil about that, because that just doesn't look right to me. So I'll ask him about that, and then I'll go about putting this all back together. That may be actually why I have all this here. That could be leaking oil through that hole there, maybe. So I may put another gasket the other side of the brass or put some gasket sealer on it. I don't know. I'll chat Father Phil, but we'll leave it at that for tonight. That's not too bad. I'm amazed I got that far. Anyways, I'll leave it at that for tonight. Not a bad night's ripping. So now, a few days later, so I checked with Father Phil about this. You can see there how that casting is all cracked and there's even a hole. There's a hole there. What goes into, I think, is into the engine, and it is, because what you may notice, all of this gunk, and that's the oil, and the tractor always did lose a bit of oil, and I'm thinking that may be where it was coming from. Maybe, might be wrong, right? Maybe, because there was no gasket on the other side of this, so what happened to this was probably a water pump at another stage. The bearings went, and then the actual pump started chewing the lumps out of the casting. That's why this is here. This was put on then to basically seal it again, so you go again. But there was no sealant between this and that, but there was between that and the water pump. So I have it all cleaned, checked with Father Phil, so now it's just a matter of putting it back together. So I'm going to put some gasket sealer around that in case that is what's leaking, because I don't have a gasket to go on this. Pop on that and pop on the new water pump. So here's the old water pump, which can go into the skip now. Here's the new water pump. Here's the gasket. That's the new water pump. Has all the bits. That must have broke off. Now I don't think I have a fan. It's one thing I think I am missing. There may be one on the shelf there somewhere. That's the water pump. I also have my copper grease to go onto the studs going in, and I have my gasket sealer there as well. So we'll fire this all into it. So that's the water pump put on. Have a good and tight. I had to cut 2 clips off the pipes that were put onto it, and thought I had some on the shelf. I don't have ones the right size, so not going to get that done tonight, but I'll have to get some clips ordered. But probably should have taken that one off, would have made this a little bit easier to put on. That was kind of in the way, but I got in around it. But I'm just going to take this minute now to go through some of the mistakes / things that I done that I didn't need to do or took me too long to figure out. Just for anyone who's watching who maybe wants to have a go at, and these are the few things that I done that I could have done different. Mistakes, these maybe it's not mistakes as in a mistake that causes damage or anything, but just as in I either didn't need to do it or done it wrong. Some along them lines. I'll go through it. It may help someone out. I think it's a good way of doing it, because I can't stop every time I do something like that to film a bit, because it just drags out the whole process. So first mistake I did was I got my metric spanners, so my 13 and my 15 and my 17, they all don't just fit that well, and I was kind of slipping on nuts. I was getting a bit concerned, so then I went and I got my 1/2 inch, which is quintessentially 13 but not quite, because of the age of the tractor. Everton on his in Imperial, so I got my Imperial 1/2 inch spanner, and that kind of made a better job of it. Next I done was this bracket here, which is not mounted onto the top of the radiator. Well, when I had my Imperial, I had the nut slipping on it, or the bolt slipping. I wasn't happy, so I went to the one behind it, and I loosened the one in behind it here, which is sitting just below the diesel tank. And of course, when I had it off, then I realized you can't get it out without taking off the diesel tank. So then I had to go to the other end to take it off. So didn't need to open that at all, because the diesel tank has to come off to get that one off. But the next thing, I went back to this, and I thought it was slipping, and I couldn't figure out why I needed a bigger size, and it wasn't a 13 on the inside, but I got a spanner up and I took it off. Then I realized there was a welded nut on the inside of the radiator fan, so just inside there, it's a welded nut. So me trying to fight with a spanner to get on it was wasting my time. Got that on, got that off. The next thing was taking off the next 2 bits of the radiator, which is the 2 holes here. Opened up that one way further than I really needed to. Now I've maybe that has been doctored somewhat. Maybe the bolt need to be open behind mine, which it could be. That does look like that was cut at some stage. Behind mine, all I need to do is open that one. The other one I just need to loosen, and the radiator came out. And so far, that's it. That is what I would call things that I could have done differently that would have sped me up. So now, because I can't go any further with the water pump, because I need my clips to put back on the pipes, and there's no point putting under, I don't want to put on the radiator because I want to get a fan to put on it, so I don't have one. The one that was on it had a long time gone off it. And I also want to wash down the engine, get a good wash at the front of that, which mightn't be that easy done with the rad sitting on it. So now I'm going to tackle the main thing of this video and see, can I get all my electrics, so my alternator to my starter to my ignition, all sorted, that I can get turning on the button. That's kind of what I want to do. I might finish the video at that. I know maybe there's not a lot in it, but I might take this in a 1 or 2 part or 2 or 3 part video. So we try and get it started. If I can get it started and see that I have that end of it running for tonight, be happy enough, and then the next time we'll give it a wash down and we'll try and get it serviced. But anyways, so I'll tip up to my shelves. So yes, it is a little bit dark up here. Now, where I have to figure out where it was put on the shelves. I think I left it to one side, but then I may not have done. This could be it here. Yeah, alternator. Yeah, this is it here. Wire and harness. This is ignition. Yep. So these are my bits here that I need. So I think that's all the bits. This is the AgriLine's alternator conversion kit for the 135. So there'll be a link to it in the description down below if you want to get one for yourself. I'm pretty sure if it's the 135, 165, all the 100 series masses are much of a muchness in that regard. So now I have my alternator. I have to take out the battery. I'll put in a different battery just to see, and I might put that one on charge, but I'd say it hasn't been used in that long. Change the ignition. The tractor stopped starting by itself. It wasn't that the battery went dead, just stopped starting by itself. That's why we're on the pull start. This is what I want to try and get this done. So I have my kit here, which should alleviate all my issues. Now it's just time to start ripping, and I'll start with the easy one, the alternator, because I've changed alternators before, so that shouldn't be too hard. Anyways, we get stuck into it. Here's my brand new alternator. This is the old one. Not much in the difference. This one's slightly bigger, so slightly heavier too. Also, where is it here? The bracket that is on the 135 at the minute, I am pretty sure is for a dynamo. My tractor is of the age it should have had a dynamo, but it has an alternator. So that's the bracket that was on the tractor, is the bracket that come with this. Bit of a difference. The alternator that was on it was only mounted in 1 bolt, not in the 2. So now I should be able to get it into the 2. No issues, I hope. Soon. Do something like that. Anyways, so yeah, also someone etched out bits out of this too, so happy days. Anyways, we'll put this alternator on. So I got bracket changed, put on this, and I started coming across the issues, yes. Where'd I put it? Here. One of them. Or I suppose the first one that I noticed was the belt didn't seem long enough. Now I don't have it put on, but the belt wasn't long enough for where the alternator was sitting. It did just go on it, but the alternator was right up again the block of the engine. So there was basically like an inch between there and that. Like an inch, that was it. Then this come into question. Now this is what was there for keeping the alternator pushed out, but this has been adapted, of course, because this had that bracket and that was even doctored. There was holes made longer there to make an alternator fit. This also was changed. It's welded there, it's welded at the top there. So I don't know what all doctoring has been done with that, but this is no good to me and the belt isn't long enough. So now you have to go on Tagger line. I'm going to have to order myself a new one of these, because I was looking, I thought there was one on the shelf there somewhere. I might ask Father Phil before I order it, so I was pretty sure I seen one, but that could have been the one off the 629 sitting in a corner of shed for all them years. So yeah, I'll ask Father Phil, see does he know where there's one of these, a straight one. All I need is a dead straight one. I nearly cut that and doctored if I needed to, but that and then this belt doesn't seem to be long enough. So whether that was something that was changed to make the alternator that was on it work, or whether there's something else wrong, I'm going to have to double check that. But a longer belt I think is what I'm going to need. Definitely going to need a longer belt to make that alternator work. So yeah, now I've hit a stumbling block. Can I really go further? I kind of want to get the alternator done and then work that way. So yeah, all fun and games. So now I have to order up some Jubilee clips for the pipes. I have to get a longer belt, I have to get that, and that's without any issues starting to go this way, which changing the battery, changing the starter, changing the light and the dash, and then getting, I was just looking at my wiring here, getting the new wiring loom put in it. And this wiring loom I think actually does everything. There's fuel tanks, there's gauges, there's all. So we'll see while he's actually working. I'm going to have to leave it at that. Can Farmer Phil get this going? No, not yet. Not yet. So yeah, just annoyed. That's always the way. There's always these little things. It's not just as simple as bish bash bong and away you go, because you don't know what's been done before you get there. Who's been there before you and done whatever to it. So yeah, it's annoying, but what can you do? So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that for today's video. Hopefully in the next one we get started and out of the shed and washed and maybe serviced. They're the kind of the three things I want to do. I get started, I get washed, and I get serviced. Change all the filters, change the oils, and also sort out that wheel too. And get the cab back, or get the roof of the cab back on it. But yeah, they're the other things I kind of want to get done. Tractor does have some more issues, but I just want to get them done. I want to get started. I want to get a topper on it, so that we can get on top of a lot of rushes that are coming up down the bottoms, and a lot of docks and a few other things. So yeah, annoyed, but what can you do? So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that for today's video. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That is it for me. Good luck.